In this project, I'm going to add a 5-image responsive gallery to the first node. Before we start adding the point hotspot, there are some files we need. I'll copy the folder Bamaru Planes from the Assets Galleries into the To Upload Images folder so that it can be added to the Assets folder when we output the project. I'll rename the folder to Bamaru Planes. This is the ID I will use to identify the gallery. I'll open the bamaruplanes.txt file. The file contains all the information needed for this gallery pop-up. And finally, I'll rename the images to match the numbers before the slide name. For example, saltwatercrocodile.jpg becomes 1.jpg and orientaldata.jpg becomes 2.jpg. Continue renaming all 5 images. Before we change the project, save it as Res Gallery. I'll add a point hotspot to the first node and set the following properties. I'll set the ID to responsive01. This makes it easier to identify in the list view. I'll leave the type at URL and set the skin ID to RPGTV_gallery. I'll copy the title text from the text document and paste it into the title field. This becomes the tooltip. Once again, I want the headline to be the same, so I'll jump down to Custom Properties and paste it in the headline field. I'll leave the aspect lock to false and the aspect ratio blank. This will make our pop-up responsive to the browser iPad aspect ratio. I'll set the gallery ID to Bamaru Planes to match the folder name. I'll copy and paste the description from the text file. I'll leave Show Description to True. I'll change the number of slides to 5. I'll copy the slide titles from the .txt document and paste it into the slides field. I need to format the slide titles so they will appear properly in the output. To do so, I'll click on the pencil next to the text field to open the simple text editor. Then I'll add a return after each line except the last one, and select OK to accept changes. For now, leave the slide description to false. This means a single description will be used throughout the gallery. Leave the default anchor to true. Note, the next steps need to be done whenever custom properties are updated. Save the project, republish the project, refresh the browser. Click on the Start button. On the first node, we can see the gallery button with a camera icon. Click on the icon to open the gallery. Depending upon the aspect ratio of your browser, you will see either a landscape or portrait view of the gallery. Rather than have a single description for a gallery, we may have individual descriptions for each slide. I'll add 5 individual descriptions to the gallery I just built. I'll start by selecting the Bamaru Gallery Point Hotspot to make it active. I'll set Show Slide Descriptions to True. I'll copy and paste the slide descriptions from the text document into the 5 slide description fields. Once that's done, I'll save the project, republish the project, refresh the browser. Click on the Start button to open the tour. Click on the Gallery button. Now as I move through the gallery, each slide has its own individual descriptions. Note, you may notice in portrait mode, a number of the images are being cropped because of the aspect ratio of the portrait window. We will address this in the next part of responsive galleries. We can improve the visual appearance of the images by modifying the anchor point of the images. Select the Pano2VR Gallery Point Hotspot to make it active. In the Properties Point Hotspot, update the following custom properties. Default anchor false, slide anchor 1 right. Slide anchor 2 top. Slide anchor 3 left. Slide anchor 4 left. And slide anchor 5 top. Save the project, republish the project, refresh the browser, review the project, click on the Start button. Now the images reflect the anchor point set for each image. In the case of the saltwater crocodile, the image is anchored on the right and the head is centered in the frame. The oriental data looks the same, but when the browser is resized, the head will not be cropped. The water buffalo are anchored to the left, and the composition is better in both portrait and landscape. The light plane in the taxi's image is now clearly visible in both orientations. In the case of the Brolga, I set the anchor to top, but the image is being cropped, so I will go back into the custom properties and change the anchor to left. Once that's done, I'll save the project, republish the project, refresh the browser. Now it fits well in both portrait and landscape. To finish off, we'll add a bit of styling to the gallery hotspot and pop-up. Select the Pano2VR Gallery Point Hotspot to make it active. In the Properties Point Hotspot, update the following custom properties. BG Shadow True, Border True. Pop-up icon BG Round. Save the project, republish the project, refresh the browser, review the project, click on the Start button. Now the Gallery Point Hotspot is round, and the pop-up has an outline and a background shadow. This brings us to the end of the responsive gallery tutorial.